So the movie Limitless is kind of a staple for self-improvement content. And for good reason. The concept itself is pretty interesting. If you've never seen the movie before, I highly recommend it. It basically just centers around this guy called Eddie Mora. He doesn't really have anything going for him in his life. He's a failed author, right? He has a book contract, but he hasn't written any of the book. He's struggling in his relationships. His girlfriend is leaving him. He's just kind of, in a bad place, and he encounters his ex-brother-in-law, and his ex-brother-in-law gives him this kind of pill that, basically changes his life. It makes him super intelligent, right? And it just gives him a clarity and a focus that he didn't have before in his life. So that's the basic concept of the movie. It's a very good movie, even though it does have its, sort of weak points. It's overall a very good film, and I highly recommend it. And I think the reason a lot of people would like this film is because of the concept, right? It's nice to think about, a pill that you can take that will immediately solve any problem you have, right? Because if you had super intelligence, which is what the pill gives you, you could pretty much do anything, right? You can figure out the answer to any problem. You know exactly what you need to do. Not only that, the pill grants you this kind of charisma, focus, and confidence that is just on another level, right? But the interesting thing about this film, right, even though it does have that, concept to it of taking a pill, and this pill can literally change your life from night to day, right? What's interesting is the fact that in real life, right, we don't have anything of the sort, or at least I'm not aware of something existing, right, that gives you all those attributes. But you don't need a magic pill to change your life. You don't need a magic pill to get your life moving, kind of like Eddie Mora did in the movie. Obviously, having all those traits that I mentioned will definitely help out, right? The guy goes from a broke author to literally running for president of the United States. So obviously having super intelligence would definitely help out. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't need a magic pill to really get the ball going in your life, right? And to really make some impactful changes, positive changes in your life. Because in the movie, for example, Eddie Mora, when he took this pill, aside from, again, having everything mapped out in his head and just having the intelligence to really pick up things like the piano, for example, learn the piano in a few days. Obviously, that's unrealistic. There are other aspects to what he does. There are a certain action that he takes, right, immediately after taking the pill that we can learn from, that we don't need a magic pill to start doing. So for example, one of the first thing that Eddie Mora does when he takes this pill is he cleans himself up, right? Before the pill, he was kind of looking homeless. I think even one of the characters mentioned that he looked like he was living in the streets. So the first thing that he does is clean himself up, right? Something that we can all do. He gets a brand new haircut, right? He trims his beard. He gets a brand new outfit, and he starts working out, right? Basic stuff that we all know we should be doing, but how many of us are actually doing it, right? Things that will make a difference in the long run. The details matter, right? And if somebody tells you that the details don't matter, I definitely don't agree with that. The details matter. Dressing well for yourself, not for others. Just having basic hygiene down, and just having a nice haircut that really fits your style will definitely help you out, right? So these are all things that we can start doing. We don't need a magic pill. Another thing that Eddie Mora does once he starts taking the pill is he starts socializing more, right? He gains a newfound confidence, and he lets go of any sort of limiting beliefs that he has. Obviously, this is a lot harder to do, especially if you have problems in your past that you feel are unresolved. But these are things that we can take action towards and improving, right? Little by little, no matter where you may be starting off of, right? Being confident, doing things that make us confident, taking actions towards things that make us confident, because confidence is a byproduct of how you live your life, right? If you're on the ball, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you're out there socializing, challenging yourself, and not really being held back by anything in life, right? obviously you're going to have a strong sense of confidence, right? Your self-esteem is going to be high. But if you're eating like crap, you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, you may be hanging out with quote unquote friends that don't really help you out or, encourage you to do better. They're kind of in the same position that you're in, right? Just kind of crabs in a bucket mentality. If you don't have really positive people around you, then you can see how your confidence and your self-esteem will suffer. And lastly, another action that Eddie Mora takes in the film, right, is he starts learning skills, right? He starts getting into trading stocks and, just trying to improve his situation in general, which is, something that we don't need. We don't need a magic pill in order to do in our lives, right? I think that was one of the messages of the movie, right? That we don't really need that one thing to really change our lives, right? We don't need that magical pill that will just solve all our problems from day to night. That everything that we need, all the tools that we have at our disposal are enough to get our life going in a positive direction. That, it's up to us ultimately to do what we need to do no matter what, and to make a positive impact on the world, right? That everything that we need is within us already, that we don't need anything external to really change our lives. So I think that was one of the main messages of the film. Even though, again, it's fun to, theorize and to think about what life would be like if something like that actually existed, right? Which is why I think that movie is so popular. The allure of it is, that concept. I'm sure people have thought about, stuff like that existing. What if it does exist where we're not aware of it, right? What if it actually is out there and we're just not aware of it? But again, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting movie, and I highly recommend it. You don't need a magic pill to change your life. You have everything you need. Use the cards that you were dealt, right? Don't make excuses. Don't compare yourself to others, and take the small steps each and every day to improve your life, right? I'm sure you know deep down what it is that you need to do in your life to improve it, right? Let go of any vices. Let go of any things that are holding you back, and start small, right? If it seems overwhelming. If you're the type to procrastinate and not really get the ball rolling, start small. I found that to be extremely helpful, right? And I obviously have clear goals in mind. Know exactly what it is that you want to achieve, and just take the daily steps, the daily actions in order to get there, right? Because what happens is those daily actions, they compound, right? Day after day, they build upon each other, and next thing you know, after some time, right, you start seeing results. It's not going to be, from day to night like in the movie, but it can definitely happen. A positive change in your life can definitely happen. It's all up to you. So if you made it this far in the video, hopefully something that I mentioned is of use to you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I just talk about things that fascinate me, whether it be a film, a TV show, anything else, that may pique my interest. I occasionally also try to give life advice based on personal experience that hopefully you'll find value in. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to all the subscribers, the new subscribers of this channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.